Well, obviously, I'm proud of my basketball team and proud of proud of my staff. I think we've come a long way in a short period of time, and I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish. Um, you know, a lot of times I've come in here and said giving God the glory and on a victory, and I probably should have walked in there and said that the other night when we got beat, because he's been awfully good to us throughout the course of the season and in building this thing. And it's been a lot of fun. I got some great kids, great assistant coaches, and it's just a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that have gone into this thing, and so much hard work. And I hated to see it end the other day. I think we'd have played them here. I think it'd have been a different outcome. But we gave it everything we had. They're awfully talented, well coached, and it was a heck of a basketball game. So at the end of the day, the way we started the year with 33 points and 15 rebounds a game, 3 seniors on the bench. Not being able to play the first 7 or 8 ball games, and to be as successful as we were early, especially in these freshmen's career, to what we evolved to and developed into as the course of the season rolled on, which was a pretty competitive basketball team, is pretty unique and pretty special. So I'm disappointed that we're not playing this weekend because I think we're good enough.
When you return most of this team, most of the core girls back for next season, what kind of teaching points can you take from this year, whether it be, being able to win as many games as you did or get to the second round, get back to the NCAA tournament? What kind of teaching points do you use with those girls?
Well, I think, again, with those girls, that I don't want them to forget the taste in their mouth, after losing the second round of the NCAA tournament in a ball game that we were in. We led at halftime. I think it's only the second ball game we lost all year where we led at halftime. And so you don't want them to forget how that felt. We're 2 free throws from being 13-3 in the SEC, so you want to continue to impart on them the importance of making free throws and making layups and focusing on little things. We didn't get a couple of blockouts in against Duke down the stretch. We had a freshman on the floor that we were trying to use on the offensive end, but we couldn't get the ball because we couldn't block out on the defensive end. And so, you keep talking to them all year long about the importance of blocking out and all that. And you want them to remember, hey, he said it all year long, and sure enough, it came back and bit us in the rear. And so you don't want them to forget that either. So I think there's a lot of teaching points, but certainly don't want them to lose that taste in their mouth.
Does a killer instinct necessarily come with experience? And if so, or if not, how much do you think that this team, to take the next step, needs to develop more of a killer instinct?
I think having success in those close ball games and winning, if that's the killer instinct that we refer to, sure, I think that's important, and we've won our share of close ball games this year, so I think we're developing that. I don't think that's what beat us against Duke. I think we couldn't make shots, and there for a while we couldn't stop them. Now, we did finally end up stopping them and getting them stopped, but we missed some shots. And but it's kind of like what they're talking about with Gonzaga's men right now. They got 3 seniors out there to guard. Well, those kids, they're going to be good. Gonzaga's supposed to be where they are right now. They got 3 senior guards, and you win championships with guard play. And so, for us, our guard play is equally as important. We'll have some guards that are juniors next year, and a bunch that are sophomores. So we're still going to be maybe having the same conversation a year from now. I don't know. I hope not, but we're still going to be green out there.
With your newcomers, what do you anticipate them adding to the team that they don't really have to come in and do what this freshman class did, but with the two Jasmines and Zion, what do you expect from them next year?
I just expect them to come in and work hard. I think we've got a group of young ladies that they won't allow them to do anything other than that, which I like. These kids that are next year will be all our kids, and even though Sharice was signed by the previous staff, she wasn't eligible when we got here. We got her eligible. Coach Harris got her eligible. So, and she's been coached by no one but us. So I think all these kids will be ours, and I think that's the thing these three are going to come into is a pretty good competitive atmosphere, and they're going to be coming into a team that's got a pretty good work ethic. And so they don't have to come in and be, spectacular, but I do think there's a chance that a couple of them could be, and certainly make a huge impact right away. So, I mean, Jazz was MVP of the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game, Holmes, and Jazz at Trinity Valley, she's first-team WBCA All-American. And I'll sit here today and she'll know it, and I'll say it. She's got some work to do in some areas that I want her to get better at in a hurry, because I think she can impact us. She should be able to. She's had 2 years of junior college. So
If there's one area, if you want to look at this team looking ahead to next year, what if there's one area that you think needs to be the biggest area of improvement so you can take the next step, what would it be?
shooting, just making shots. Kids spending more time in the gym and less time in the ice cream shop or whatever. Just we got to make shots. And you play against a team as big as Duke. They're not going to let you take it to the rim. They're not going to let you run your dribble drive. If you do, you're going to be running into the Statue of Liberty. And when that one falls down, there's another statue right behind her. So you got to make shots. And, we need to get in the gym and get better shooting basketball. And we've got some good shooters.
As good a season as Victoria had, how much better can she be?
I don't think there's any doubt her top end is out of sight. I mean, I don't think we've scratched the surface of how good the kid can be, and rightfully so. She was just a freshman. One thing, though, that she is, that's always going to be that she's competitive. She's a winner. She wants to win. She's not afraid to take the big shot. She likes the big atmosphere and the big moment. So, but I think you're going to find this time next year, all those freshmen will have improved and be completely different players.
When you say get better at shooting, you have questions at, on paper, all 5 positions for players coming back to get better at that particular skill. Who do you hope is going to be the person that is the first one in the gym that the other 4 see? I better get my butt in the gym to get better, just like she's trying to get better.
Well, I mean, I think, leadership too is another area, and I think that's an area that if you want to know one thing, maybe it'd be that. I said shooting, but I think if you get good leadership, then I think whoever that person is that's dragging everybody to the gym, then I think everything falls into place. But, Dominique's kind of she should be our leader, in my opinion. Now, whether she can handle that role and be that person, again, I think that's yet to be seen. But and I think Victoria it needs to be that person. It always helps when your quote unquote best player is also your leader. Your best player, your best skilled player, has credibility, instant credibility with her teammates because she is a good player. And of course, Dom and Victoria, in their own right, because of how they play the game and their skill set, I think, command that. And so, I would hope that those two are going to be the ones that are in the gym and dragging people with them.
Broke a lot of records this year. Set a lot of records. Didn't quite get as far as some teams have in the NCAA tournament, the Sweet 16 for that one team. But was this the best year in their history in your mind?
That's what they've told me. Obviously in 3 years, it's certainly our best year, but I wasn't here for the others, but played against a lot of those teams. But, from a standpoint, if you want to talk about just about team, I guess the wins dictate that, and they won 27 games. They won 11 games in the SEC, and they finished third in the SEC. I don't know if they've ever finished third in the SEC. That's a question, I guess, for the
One other time.
Brock one other time by themselves. So from that standpoint, pretty special year. From a program perspective, I don't think that there's any doubt it's probably the best year of the program. We stayed in the top 12, top 14 all year long. Had 7,300 for our senior night. Averaged almost 5,000 fans in the SEC. That's never been done. So from a program standpoint, recruiting right now, I think the program's in pretty good shape and experience. If it's not the best time, it's some of the best times of its career.
When you look at your 4 position, you had a two-headed monster at times, but you talked about consistency and turnovers with Katera and Brian at that position. How do you want to see them take the next step as juniors? Because now they're on the bottom end of career, and you would hope that they're going to try to shoulder a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a great contemplation, just because those kids impact our program so much in so many positive ways, and yet, when they're on the court, that's a really important position that it sometimes hasn't produced like I need it to. And, I don't know what Bree was the other day, 0 for 6 maybe, against Duke. And, hey, it's not that those kids aren't trying. Those are 2 of the greatest kids I've ever coached. Those are wonderful young ladies, and they're trying their heart out. But at the end of the day, I think they tell you, and I certainly will, they got to get better. That's one of the positions I'm talking about, got to make shots. That position has got to make shots. And, Bree's always been a tremendous rebounder. Katera needs to become a better rebounder, especially defensively. She's always been a nose for the ball offensive rebounder, but defensive rebounding is always probably been number 2 of the 2. But both those kids, this time last year, I sat here and said the same thing and told them the same thing, and it didn't get done. Let's be honest. And so I think they've got to look in the mirror. I've got to look in the mirror and realize, hey, we didn't get it done last year. Let's get it done, because that position impacts our program, and it impacts our team every night, and they got to make shots, and they can't turn it over. So it's important, no doubt about it. And for us, I think, to get to that next game, I think our 4 spot's got to get better. No doubt about it. I think our 4 spot's got to improve dramatically.
And what about at center, when you replace somebody like Martha Alwal, what she does on both sides of the floor? Is that where Chinwei just needs to make a jump next year, or is it going to be kind of a whole staff kind of deal?
I've been asked about that position more than any, and for whatever reason, and I could be dead wrong, I'm not worried about that position. I think Sharice and Chinwei will provide us with exactly what we need there. Those two were sensational early when Martha was hurt. We won some big ball games against some really good teams with those 2. And I really believe that those 2 are going to have breakout years next year. So I'm excited to get in the gym and work with them, and to watch them develop and to continue to develop. And I think those 2 will be giddy. They'll be excited about the opportunity, knowing that Martha doesn't have a back problem, and that's why I'm playing, or Martha's not on the team anymore. I'm going to have to play. And I think they'll be excited about that.